What did you make of the difficulty of the Crota's End remake? It was vastly more difficult than the, what is it, Root of Nightmares, which was
Oh
widely
wow, yeah,
criticized for being very easy, the contest mode
yeah.
specifically. And it makes me wonder, the big question is the difficulty for this final shape raid. How difficult is a witness going to be? Because it's obviously goes without saying, this raid needs to be difficult. Like this, if the witness raid was the same difficulty as Nezarek, that
Oh
would be
gosh,
a
oh,
disaster, an
yeah.
absolute disaster. So I don't even care if it's just like, no one even completes. Again, this is just ridiculous kind of imagination. I don't even know if I actually would want this, but imagine if it took like a week for anyone to actually beat. Imagine if it was just soul crushingly difficult, where it's just like 3-4 days later and you wake up, is like, has anyone beat the raid yet? No, they're still on this phase. They can't get it. Imagine if it was just so mind crushingly difficult that it took a week. Like, how good of a again, I'm not saying I
You've
exactly want that,
erased Last Wish
but
from your memory. It's that trauma has
no,
been
I'm
folded,
saying
hasn't
Last
it?
Wish times 5.
Oh
Last
gosh,
Wish was
oh,
20, two teams beat it in 24 hours. I'm
two, yeah,
saying
12 people
I
in
want a
total.
team to beat it after the 5th day. Imagine that. Again, I'm not saying
Oh gosh,
I'm not sure if that would actually work, but imagine if it was just like, how, again, it might not be logistically make sense, but as a story, that would be cool for the Witness, the biggest villain in the entire 10-year Destiny franchise, to be just this impossibly difficult boss that no one even knows how to beat. And then, I don't even know, but that's just my spitball imagination. But
yeah.
it definitely needs
I
to be hard.
think
Maybe not that hard, but it definitely needs to be a challenge, I think.
I completely agree. I think the way they're going to try and measure the difficulty for this is that they're going to take what they did as far as difficulty for Crota, and they're going to bump it a little bit more, right? It's going to be one of those things where they want it to be tough. They know contest is now 48 hours, so they can afford to take a little bit more time. But also, oh man, yeah, they can't afford, they know this. That's why Crota is as tough as it was. They know they can't afford to repeat a Nezarek situation. There were Rat King contest clears of Nezarek, right? Rat King clears. Rat King. Rat King,
I did
that
zero
shouldn't be
prep.
happening.
I wasn't even intending on doing contest mode. I just thought, yeah, I'll just do it right after contest mode. I don't want to, I'm not feeling like a super soul crushing experience. I'm just going to do it casually and just do it after the contest mode. But then unexpectedly got pulled into a team and then managed to do it on like really not too much difficulty. And I was like, I feel like I should have had to do a lot more prep to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But for numbers, it was said that in the first, as far as the first 24 hours, 900, or I think less than 900 players beat Crota within the first 24 hours, whereas 17,000 players beat Nezarek within the first 24 hours. So the difference was staggering. And yeah, I think it's just, I think Bungie definitely deliberately made Crota difficult to kind of, it makes sense because you want to make it just a fun, memorable experience that people respect in a sense. It is because Crota was obviously the big running thing was that Crota obviously was a very, very easy raid boss, was kind of seen as a joke. People always thought they'd come back as like a dungeon or a strike. That was the thing. So I think Bungie wanted to kind of remind us like, no, Crota's a real boss and we're going to make you respect him. We're just going to make him really difficult. But I wonder whether the witness raid will be Crota level.
Yeah, so to give you a vague idea, taking a look at the 24-hour mark of contest mode, right? And this is what's really important for comparison's sake. Root of Nightmares, right? When it comes to normal mode difficulty, I think it's 17,400 teams. This is a raw data sheet I literally just pulled from Reddit, but it's got a ton of detail to it, right? 17,400 teams completed it. So you're looking at somewhere in the region of hundreds of thousands of players, right? When it comes to Crota's End, that's at the 24-hour mark, right? Crota's End, instead, 870 teams is the number, right? So, and keep in mind, that's still several thousand players, but that's a very prestigious club, so to speak. And as far as the prestige of a day one or contest clear is concerned, that's about right. Now, keep in mind, that's both normal mode, or I say normal mode, that's both normal clears, right? Crota also has contest challenges which need to be cleared. And for that, the number of teams that were clearing it was only 80 within those first 24 hours. Now, contest does go on for 48 hours now, and to give you an idea of where King's Fall was, you're looking at about 3,000 teams. For Val the Disciple, you're looking at about 6,500.
Pretty consistent.
Right? Ron is the clear outlier. 45,000.
Yeah, that's that's wild. And especially in an expansion that wasn't received as well, it definitely was the raid of What do you think about Root of Nightmares now? Reflecting back now that a lot of time has passed, as a raid in general, how do you think it's aged?
So, I think Root of Nightmares is this tragic, misplaced piece of content, and it's something I've said a few different times. If Root of Nightmares had been released alongside an LFG system that was fully functioning, I think it would have made a lot more sense, and Bungie would have been able to point to it and say, this is like Baby Raid for babies because it is designed for people to get into for the first time. This is an introductory step, If at that point you could sit there and actually point to that and say, that's the reason why, I think it would have been much more widely accepted by players. And Bungie could have put it to the side and said, hey, people who are the day one raiders who get this stuff done within the contest period, just go and have fun, go wild, go crazy, and at that point it would have been seen more as a fairground attraction rather than people trying to sit the final, the final round of the Gaokao exam. Like, it's not sitting there and giving you the major vibe of like, this is an absolutely crucially important day one. Instead, it would have been approached in a very different manner. It didn't happen that way, though, and so it's always going to feel like an outlier, and it's always going to feel like a lesson for Bungie, right?